It's me. I'm here. Welcome. We got Kiki with first today. Kiki, how's it going? Had some sushi yesterday. It was delicious. Oh, Rai is here. Taryn's here. Hello, my friends. Oh my goodness. I have been a little bit sluggish this morning because I was still very asleep when my alarm went off this morning. Like, so deeply asleep that I heard my alarm and I was like, what's that? Like, it took me a while to wake up enough to be like, oh, that's my alarm. And then I turned my alarm off and I just kind of laid there like, I guess I'm supposed to get up now. I guess. I don't know. Oh, goodness. So, bit sluggish this morning. But here we are. How are you guys doing? It's Wednesday, which means it's midway through the week already. Can't believe it. My goodness. So many things going on in the month of June. We had my birthday last week. The week before, the 1st. Technically last week, depending on if you think of Sunday as the beginning or the end of the week. We got our anniversary coming up next week on the 21st. And then at the end of this month, we got Ghost Pepper's family coming to visit. We've got 2 birthdays and another anniversary to celebrate. So, hectic times. Sardonisms is here. Sardonisms. How's it going? Kiki doing a bit of editing right now. Heck yeah, I hope it's going smoothly. We're going to be taking a break from edits today, and we're going to outline the My Little Domerin fanfic. So I think pretty much everybody who's here right now remembers, but for anyone who might be lurking who hasn't heard the story yet, last year, after 2 hard drive crashes, I replaced my computer to this guy here. His name is Langdale, who is a character in the Aravalia Chronicles that none of you have had a chance to meet yet, unless you're one of my beta readers. Yeah, it wasn't in the plan. My computer wasn't that old, but it was eating hard drives, so we replaced it. We bought this guy, and then I did a bit of a fundraiser at the end of last year, beginning of this year, to sort of recoup the loss of having to unexpectedly buy a computer in this economy. And y'all blew me away. You guys donated so much. Our highest goal. Woof is here! One of the few people who knows who Langdale is. Woof, hello. Hello from the furry side. Heck yeah. Give us a nice furry snuggle. So yeah, you guys blew it away. Our highest goal was a, what? Langdale, you know who Dad is. The guy my computer is named after. The highest level of reward was that we would take my grumpy little elf son down there in the corner and turn him into a pony, which I've actually already done in the past, and do a fanfic of him as a pony. And last time we did a blog writing session, we did some character sketches, I guess, some character outlines, did a little intro of who the main characters are going to be, so basically all the characters that I've turned into ponies, and we took a hot minute to look up some of the My Little Pony lore, because it's been a hot minute for me since I watched the show, and we figured out how our fan kingdom is going to fit into the My Little Pony universe, and now it's time to actually do an outline of the story. 627 is when my hubby and I started dating. Oh, Taryn, that's awesome. I am 31,000 words into this project and only in chapter 3. Yeah, but your chapters are long, Sardonisms. That's impressive. Don't think I'm underwriting this time. Domerin Lore Hooves. I think I was just gonna keep his name as Domerin Lorecast, but now I'm very tempted to change it. Now I'm very tempted to change it to Domerin Hooves. Did you come up with a name for Rose too? Woof had made a little bit of a pony story once before. If it's only me, don't bother, but I'm having some difficulty hearing you over the thunder when it booms. I haven't, to my knowledge, adjusted any of the, sounds any differently than before, but I can... I've inched my microphone up a tiny little bit. I can also inch the desktop audio down a little bit. If I turn up my microphone too much... If I turn up my microphone too much, I get really gainy and it sounds bad. I have slightly turned down the desktop sound, so let me know if that's any better. Perfect. I suspect, I can't confirm this, but I suspect whenever I run a Windows update, it fiddles with some settings, because I remember the other day I turned on OBS and my microphone was muted, even though I plug it into the same USB port every time. And I remembered afterward that I had run a Windows update, so I think it fiddles with things in the background, and I'm not always aware. Because for me, all the sound levels are exactly the same. So I've basically turned down the desktop audio a little bit for you guys. So it'll sound the same for me, but it should be a little bit better for you guys. I don't think I've changed the thunder. I think I've kept it at a pretty... I've turned up the rain sound for sure, but I haven't turned up the thunder. I usually keep my settings pretty samey. I named Crescent Gilded Crescent, and he was a crystal pony. I don't think we're gonna do a crystal pony for him, but I do have the picture of him that you had. I didn't even name Rose. Oh, I'm so tempted to use Domerin Hooves. That's so funny. The crescent you sent me wasn't a crystal pony, just so you know. But I guess I could make him a crystal pony if you want him to be a crystal pony. Now would be the time to make that change. Do you want him to be a crystal pony? Oh, you know, I don't even think I gave them last names. I just gave them all first names. I made Crescent an earth pony with gold, yellow, amber fur, light blonde tail and mane, crop short, and jade green eyes with slitted pupils, which is from the Thestrals, as we remembered from the last time. You know how I feel about sound issues with Twitch? It's constant. It doesn't matter if you don't touch things, it just happens. Good luck at your appointment, Taryn. Hopefully we'll see you after. I did my upper size during lunch and did not have time to lay down, so I am -1, desperately needed a nap. Oh no! I'm also sleepy, sardonisms. I feel you. What did you give Sesha a last name? Did you give Sesha Pony a last name, Woof? He's the only one who gave a last name for her. He wasn't in the prompt. How sad. Well, I will add Lore Hooves. I'm gonna change the spelling ever so slightly. Because it's too good. It's too good a name. And if you have a last name that you want for Sesha, let me know. Carly, hello, how's it going? So yeah, last time that we worked on this, we basically went through my, old character avatars folder, and we looked at the ponies. So for anyone who missed it the last time, this is Domerin Pony. He's not really thrilled with his existence, but he exists. Sesha Natos, okay. Dr. Natos, I'll change it. No, that's awful, but I love it. You can change it if you don't like it, but I like it. Just got done at the barn and got out of the shower. Nice! How are the horsies today? What, Woof? What? You're cute and awesome? Is that... Now I'm waiting for the stream to catch up to what Woof is gonna say. Nathan Cabrian, this popped into my head because I used to have a character named Leighton Cabaret. You should do a Muppet Christmas Carol where Michael Caine was like the only human among the Muppets, and so he just acted like it was all normal, so just make Domerin a normal elf surrounded by ponies. That would be so much worse. No, I promised people that Domerin would be a pony, and he is a pony. Look at him. Look at him! Look at this cute boy! He's already a pony! Do you want it to be Sesha Natos? Or do you want to change it? I'm writing it down. Once I write it down... I'm gonna take the A out. I think Natos sounds better than Neatos. Listen, word, I know that that's an incorrect spelling. Just live with it. How was Harry McLongface? Horsies were good. A couple of them were being buttheads and trying to start shit. Oh Oh. That sounds like horses, though. Didn't see him today. He was hanging with his other horse friends, and I didn't go out to the pasture. I think he's mad that his usual horse bestie has been in the arena all week. So, do they have, like, a schedule where they get moved around to... Oh, I forgot I even had the display capture on. My goodness. All the things you've seen. Do they have, like, a set schedule where they get moved around to different parts of, like, the, like, they have pasture time and they have, like, barn time? Or is it just kind of like they notice whatever the horses seem like they want to do and they just let them go there? Is there... That was a really disaster of a question. I asked that very poorly. You can look up horse puns. Horse pun names. Naysayer, Neigh. Sir Trots a lot. Pony Soprano. Colt 45. These are great. Harry Trotter. Sherlock Hooves. Some of the horses get regularly worked, so they get brought into the arena regularly, but those that don't get worked just free roam pasture time. That makes sense. It's horse camp week, and his bestie Twiggy is one of the sound riding horses, so she's been worked all week, therefore she's been in the arena. Is she, like, super good around kids? Is that why they have her in the arena the whole time? So remember that giant thing I wrote to completion and then got super anxious about, but shared anyway? I wrote another one that went through some events referenced in that one, and then I went and wrote the only time sub ever called Red, because the thing I love more than spice is angst and hurt comfort. Yeah, I was gonna say, Woof is a big hurt comfort junkie too. Like, when Baldur's Gate came out, Woof got totally into the dark urge for that very reason. Why am I just Googling funny horse names now? Sirloin. Naomi Campbell. Nabeline. Maybe she's barn with it. Maybe it's Habeline. Winnie Houston. That sounds like one straight out of the show. Funny. I wouldn't say that. She has an attitude 95% of the time, but she's one of the few horses that actually can be ridden and she listens well. Okay, so did they not ride a lot of the horses? I know you said it's like for therapy for kids. Is it less that they ride the horses and more that they just kind of hang out with them and like groom them and stuff? She just sees a firm hand at the reins. I've ridden horses like that. Just pulled a tick off of me. No, Carly. I'm glad you found it, first of all. Always a good thing to check when you've come back from the barn. But, I definitely would feel icky after that, too. I could write more spice, or I could write the time the spice got derailed by a panic attack. Option 2 it is. Okay, yeah, so today, we're gonna stop looking at funny horse names. We'll use draft more for Rose, because I like that. We'll put it in there. Although I don't know if the other princesses had last names, but we've got some last names now. So I'm going to be doing an outline for this story today. And pretty much when I woke up this morning, I had basically no idea what I wanted to do with this fanfic, aside from a couple basics. Like, I had a basic core concept that I wanted to use, and I hadn't really thought beyond that. And then I was like, I need to do an outline today, which means I need to think about what I want this story to actually be. So I did that in the shower. I just kind of outlined the whole thing, and I came up with the chapter breakdown. So now I pretty much just have to write it down. Let it not be said that writers don't do their best work in the shower, because we do. They have a herd of like 30 horses. That's a lot of horses. Some are boarders, and most are rescues, so they aren't in good enough condition to be ridden. That makes total sense. But those that are, like Twiggy, are the ones that normally work. That makes total sense. Blur, hello, how's it going? How are you? Sardonisms, I hope you find your tablet. Boop. Level 104. So to-do list. Outline My Little Domerin Fanfic. Can I type that? How much can I type before it starts cutting it off? Oop. Oh, it just gets smaller. Okay. That's fine. That'll work. And then I do have ideas for another fanfic. There we go. I'll put it that way, but I just have some ideas I want to jot down. If we have enough time to do the second one, then perfect. But if we don't, the main thing to do today is just to outline My Little Domerin. But I did do that in the shower this morning, so I'm feeling pretty confident that I can get it done quickly. Listen, I don't know if this will make you feel better, Sardonisms, but you know how I wear these little headbands? Yesterday, I had taken off my headband so I could tidy up my hair underneath, because I sometimes pull it back into the ponytail to get anything that's like fallen out back secure. And I re-secured my ponytail, and I was like, where's my headband? I need to put my headband on. I'm not wearing it. Where is it? I just wandered around the house. I looked everywhere I might have possibly put it. It was around my neck. I had pulled it down around my neck. And it took me like 3 glances in the mirror before I noticed. So sometimes we all look for something that's right in front of us. Artists also do their best work in the shower. I thought of my best works in the shower. I know, there's just something about being alone and isolated from the world with the nice soothing sound of water flowing and the hot warm water, or cold if you prefer. Brain has shifted hyperfixations from Olive Garden soup to chicken nuggies. Chicken nuggies are the best at McDonald's, really. Crispy chicken and chicken nuggies. I gotta stop talking about that or I'm gonna want it myself. I put down that, I saved that recipe that you sent, Carly, for that chicken soup, and I'm gonna get the stuff to make it on our next grocery shop this weekend. Gonna be doing some video editing. I'm okay, Blur. I'm a little sluggish today. I was very deeply asleep when my alarm went off this morning. But I'm doing pretty good. We'll get there. What if you made the chicken gnocchi soup with McNuggies? I don't know if that would work very well. I'm with Carly on that one. I've done that with my artist glove plenty of times. Yeah, there have also been several times where I'm like, where are my glasses? Oh. It was entirely the fault of me who put the laptop on the tablet. It was buried and invisible. Listen, it was the same. I put my headband around my neck, and then I forgot I did it. And I apparently didn't feel myself wearing it. I finally, like, walked into the bathroom and looked in the mirror, and I was like, oh. Fun days, fun times. So yeah, let's, decide. I was looking at the various backgrounds today, and I couldn't really decide, what I wanted other than this background, so we still have this background for now. Look at his cute little blep when he plays the game. It's too adorable. We could do some knitting, actually. We could do some knitting, and think we'll hang out with, because he'll knit with us. Look at how adorable he is. So yeah, and I guess we'll set up the timer. I don't know if I'm gonna need 3 sprints today, but maybe we'll leave it. Because I can always, it's not like I don't always have stuff to do. Finally noticed the laptop wasn't sitting flat on the TV tray. I'm just glad you found it, Sardonisms. When I can't find my technology, I lose my mind. Because I'm like, my stuff is on there. Where is that? 2 very exciting books got here today. They're exciting because I've been waiting for them. I realize it sounds like I'm hinting. Which 2 books, Sardonisms? Do you want to tell us? Do it anyway? Do 3 sprints anyway? I think we will, even if we don't fully need them. And I think the last thing... Ooh, I did open a look. Past me was on top of it. The me of 10 minutes ago knew what I was doing. My Little Domerin outline. Save. Excellent. I think I have an extra file on my computer on my desktop that I can delete, question mark? Next book in Case File Compendium and Wild Run, 2 modern danmei I enjoy and am reading official translations of. Oh, that's awesome! And you got hardcover books of them? Like, printout books? Why am I having such a hard time asking questions today? Why do I feel like every word that I speak today feels like an alien language just drifting free of my throat, and then I need to awkwardly explain what words mean? Why is this me? I'm a writer. I swear I know how language works. Why am I like this? Okay. I can't delete that file. Good to know. Why am I me? Yeah, I totally. I love how sometimes I'm like, people are gonna come to my streams and hear me talk and be like, this girl says she's a writer and she can't write. She can't even. She doesn't barely even know what English is. How does she think that she can actually write a coherent sentence? And I promise you, I can write a coherent sentence 90% of the time. But when I speak, something gets weirdly crossed in my brain sometimes, and I'm just like, doohickey, please give. And then I'm like, mostly it's thingamabobs. I'm like, hey, give me the thing. And Ghost's just like, what thing? And I'm just like, the thing. Give it to me. And he's like, I don't know what thing. And I'm like, it's simple. The thing. And then I pick it up and I'm like, the thing. And he's like, well, you could have just said that you wanted the can opener. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I'm like, how dare you not be able to read my mind and tell me exactly what I want to know. Oh my goodness. Thanks for putting up with my weird awkwardness, guys. I appreciate it. They're pretty paperbacks that I can tap to my heart's content. Hell yeah! That's awesome! It's always nice to have a physical copy of something. I love my Kindle, I really do. It serves great purpose. It's convenient for when I'm traveling. It's nice sometimes to just not pay a ton for a book I want to read, but there's something about having a physical copy of something and feeling it tactilely with your hands while you're enjoying it and experiencing it. That for me is deeply visceral, and I will never be able to give up. Joe's here! Holy potatoes, I just saw what had to be the world's biggest bird. Was it attacking the awning of your house? My autism really been autisming lately, so I've just been having bursts of echolalia. I just learned what that was yesterday. Like crazy and randomly. It's been great and made me seem super intelligent. Oh no, Carly. But I think people understand. We all have our things that we do, and then we're like, I do not know why my brain just did that. This stream is one of my main social outlets. I work from home most days. I only talk to boyfriend. Co-working streams are the main place I chat with people I don't live with. Listen, sardinism, same. I don't leave my house. Outside sucks. It's hot. It's hot. And also there are people out there. I don't leave. I'm in here. I kid. But that's always kind of been the goal of my streams, is like, I wanted to create that water cooler feel. Because we, as creatives and people who work from home as well, we kind of a little bit work in isolation, and we're not always social creatures. And we kind of like our own space, and to be in our own space, and to have our own comfort and our own routines. But there is a little bit of something missing when... Hi, hello! Taryn's back! Why, never mind. Was your appointment not today? Did you get an appointment time mixed up? But there is always kind of that desire, that drive to be around other people who are like you, who are doing the same thing as you, even if you're just kind of quietly working side by side. And so my goal in doing these streams has always been to sort of create that water cooler feel, right? Where we can all do our own thing and be in our comfortable space and get our creative or otherwise work done, but then also have a place to chill and hang out and be like, hey, I just did this, or I'm excited about this going on in my life, or whatever. And have that like water cooler chat that you don't get when you don't leave your house. So I'm glad. That was a really long-winded way of saying I'm glad. I'm glad that you feel like this is a place where you can chill and where you can catch up with people, and have that little, like, social time that you might not otherwise get because you work at home and probably enjoy working at home, but also are sometimes like, hey, I wish there was a portal to the water cooler down the hallway. Also, I don't think that's weird at all. That's totally awesome. I was just chilling in my yard, but it was like the size of a small bush. Infinite Dog is here! Oh my goodness. Joe, I still have that cover that you drew for me. The Nightmare Birds cover. I was looking through my files yesterday and I found it. Infinite Dog, how's it going? Welcome in, Raiders. What were you up to today? Moose, hello. I have no emotes, but I'm here. The most important thing is that you're here. We appreciate the hell out of you. How's it going, everybody? We're just getting ready for our first sprint of the day. I'm going to be outlining a fan fiction of my character, my grumpy elf child down there in the corner, Domerin. We turned him into a pony. I should really stop closing the picture. I should just really have it on standby. I should really just keep it open, to be honest. Why do I keep closing it? But we have taken my grumpy elf son and we've turned him into a pony, and we're going to make a fanfic about him. And he hates it, but we love it. Carly, thank you for gifting us up to Moose. You got super good news, Moose. What is it? Please share. We're excited. Love the thunderstorm ambience. Heck yeah, thank you. I live in a world of rain. I'm a huge fluviophile, which, for those who aren't familiar with the word, means lover of rain. So yeah, I live in a world of eternal rain, and Lo-Fi Sessions allows me to do that. So this is Domerin. This is what we're doing today. We are creating a story for this grumpy little unicorn boy here. We've already sort of established where the fanfic fits into the lore and what our characters' funny horse names are. And now we're going to write the outline that I came up with in the shower. I saw it had to be the world's biggest bird. It was my middle finger. Heck yeah, Carly. I went outside and saw a scary bird. When it starts to peck at your awning while you're inside, call me. Pie, what are you peeling today? There were some billing issues and I didn't let her know I was still available until it was too late. Oh no, Taryn, I'm so sorry. But I guess that means we get to have more of you and we're happy to have you. I don't leave my house either. I only talk to close friends, boyfriend, and of course all of you. We're happy to have you, Blur. Listen, I love all you guys. Even when I'm just bumbling around and can't speak a sentence, I love you all and I appreciate that you hang out with me. Frickin' I'm playing all the content in Power Wash Simulator. Are you enjoying it? I know some people who have like a love of that game and some people who have like a love-hate of that game because they find it chill until there's like one part of dirt that they can't find. I see the pie drapes, Pie. We're gonna do those as soon as I catch up on chat. There's lore? Yeah, the My Little Pony show has lore. It has like 20 seasons. Must look really get ready for work. Infinite Dog, thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate you, and I hope you have a fabulous day at work. I've been on a consumer credit proposal for a bit now. Because of that, I was told I would not be getting any of my tax return when I filed my taxes this year. I'm told today by my consumer credit people that I am getting a tax return. Moose, that's amazing. Whoa, that is a big return too. That's awesome. That is amazing news. I'm so happy for you. We consider it a win to just not owe. To be honest, we have enough income sources that we're kind of like, it's inevitable that someday, just because I have my publishing and Ghost has his work and then his streaming and then we have the rental, that we're like, if we can zero out all of our income on the tax return, that's a good year for us. Peeled some vegetables into a salad. Yummy. What kind of dressing did you put on there, Joe? Peeling nothing today, just tired, so we'll lurk. Hi, we're happy to have you. Appreciate the heck out of you and keeping us hydrated. Day 3 of World Hopping Esports Danme. We have arrived back in the US, which means it's time to introduce MC's original team and let him reflect on the fact that every one of them was there when he originally died, because meeting mom was insufficient angst for my tastes. Yes, delicious pain. They're on their way to screaming in my belly. The vegetables? I'm pretty sure they're dead by now, Joe. You chewed them. I have to leave early today because I have to take Cat to the vet. You might lose an eye. Oh no. He's having a lot of appointments while we try to save it. Good luck, Sardonisms. At the end of the day, I just hope Kitty is okay and gets to a point where he's not suffering and or in pain or anything like that. If they have to take out the eye and he's a good happy cat after that, at least he's still a happy cat. But if they can save it, even better. One of the ponies is a murderer. Joe, did I tell you that I dated Jerry in Monster Camp? I finally did Jerry's plot. It's a murder mystery. Spoiler, Jerry's the murderer. Need to binge Happy Tree Friends on stream. Happy Tree Friends? What is Happy Tree Friends? Haven't had a job since February, so getting 2K very suddenly is definitely a win. Absolutely, Moose. Absolutely. I'm sure it's a huge relief to know you'll have that kind of a windfall. He has a viral infection in his eye that seemed like it was getting better and it got much worse. Oh no! I really hope they can save it. But I know also he's in good hands. He's got somebody to take care of him. What is Happy Tree Friend? I'm now afraid to Google it. What am I being told to look at? It's My Little Pony, but for cool kids? Okay. Happy Tree Friends is violent. It does not sound like it's for me. Hi! Why are you always trolling me? Maybe if I do the pie drates, pie will troll me less. A 1. A 2. A 3. Thanks to the advice of everyone in the chat, I will not Google what Happy Tree Friends is. But I will go take a quick break so we can get to our productivity for the day. So we're all set up for our first sprint. And I have a plan of where I want to go hang out on our second sprint. So I am going to pop AFK, wash a room, and I'll be right back. I do not want to be traumatized, Pi. Thank you. I love you, but I don't want to be traumatized today. I'm back. To addendum to the previous conversation, I don't like things, I don't mind necessarily violence in shows, but I don't like stuff that's like violent for the sake of violence or edginess or gore. And I get the impression from what you guys are saying that that might be what this Happy Tree Friends is, in which case it would not be for me. So, not to yuck anyone's yum, but it's just not my sort of thing. What I miss? Nuggies! Carly gave me the recipe for her soup that she made yesterday. You could get nuggies in ice cream. Oh, I see. You've already had this conversation. You'd be getting the ice cream from elsewhere. Final Destination? No. Well, Final Destination is technically a horror movie anyway, and I don't really do horror. But yeah, anything, like I won't watch Saw, I won't watch Invincible, I won't watch The Boys, anything like that where it's like, they're trying to shock you with, what they're showing on the screen. Not for me. I don't do shock value. I want something, like, if I'm watching a sci-fi show and there's violence in the sci-fi show and it's somehow meaningful to what's going on in the story, I can handle that. If you start having a body count just to have a body count, I'm like, probably not for me. So, just didn't want it to seem like I was being, like, super negative about something. But I just got the impression that that Happy Tree Friends thing is going to be a very not for me kind of thing. Me when someone isn't watching Starborn Striker on Twitch. Oh, I love that emote. It's so cute. Mama Buckle, how's it going? We're just about to start our first productivity. I watched Game of Thrones. It didn't necessarily bother me because some of the violence was supposed to be the story, but I will say it rubbed up against my limit, and also the show was kind of garbage. The earlier seasons were better because it seemed like there was a point, and then when they got to the point where they just started blowing up plot lines because they had run out of book material and didn't actually know how to end it, literally blowing up plot lines instead of finishing them, I was like, but I kind of watched that show to hang out with Ghost. So Game of Thrones was a misery simulator for sure. Ghost and I were just talking about that last night. I can't say anything about the books because I never read the books. I won't read a book series that isn't finished. And let's be honest, that book series is never going to be finished. Ghost Pepper had read the books, and was very invested in the show. And so basically I waited until the last season was going to come out. And then we binge watched the whole series right before the last season came out. And we watched the last season together. And the last season was so bad that there was an episode where I just kept quoting what they were gonna say right before they said it, and I did it like 4 times in a row. Literally had not invested a decade of my life into the show, had just binge watched the whole thing up until that point, and it was like the next to last episode I just started calling what they were gonna say right before they said it, and Ghost turned around and looked at me with a death glare and was like, I have been waiting 10 years for this, stop ruining it for me. I was like, it is not my fault that the writing is shit. I'm very interested to know what would have actually happened if George R. R. Martin had stayed on with the show, and or finished the books, but we'll never know. We will never know. Boyfriend described the last season as trying to finish a D&D campaign before the GM moves away at the end of the summer. Yeah, definitely. The first 2 books were decent, but they became dead to me when I realized George R. R. Schmuck was never going to finish them. Yeah. He's been working on the next to last book for 14 years. If it takes him double the amount of time, It's gonna take him 30 years to write the last book, and I'm sorry, but he's probably not gonna make it that long. He's also really, okay, I shouldn't be trash talking George R.R. Martin on my stream, but, he's gotten very bitter and upset about the way the Game of Thrones TV series ended. And so now every time he's interviewed, he goes on these long rants about how he doesn't trust other people to direct stuff that's based on books because directors don't understand a writer's vision or something. And it's like, my dude, you gave two guys who clearly don't know how to write a plot a rough sketch of a book that's just barely imagined in your brain and said, go to town. What did you think was gonna happen? It's fine, we won't tell him. Appreciate you, Moose. He's making movies and stuff now. May I ask a writing in question in chat about a particular blurb for my novel? Yes. Please ask us something about what we're actually here for. He hired ghostwriters to help him finish the book and it's still not done? Question mark? Too many ins? Hey, it's okay. I'm gonna answer Taryn's question and then we are gonna start the sprint because I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole. But I do. There's a complicated discussion to be had about whether or not writers owe readers endings to the work that they start. And I know there have been some very famous cases of really popular fantasy writers who have left series unfinished because they burnt out on them and they just couldn't bring themselves to write anymore. And part of me thinks if you are destroying your soul by writing something, you should probably be able to walk away from it. But the other part of me, the part of me that it's a voracious reader and story consumer, thinks that when you publish a book, you're making a contract with your readers that you're going to provide them with closure for the rabbit hole that you're pulling them down. And so the short version of this rant is this is why I have a publishing buffer and why all 15 books of the Aravalia Chronicles are already written. So if you start reading book 1, you know that you're going to get an ending. You know that that series is going to have an ending. And I have been burned so many times by starts of series that never finished that I now am at the point where if a series isn't finished, won't start it. And Game of Thrones very heavily qualifies. Ghost has read them all. I have read them none. Derek removed the cloche, which then hopped away on its own, to reveal a big, heaping mountain of mac and cheese. Giddy, Derek took a bite. With no inhibitions whatsoever. His first bite instantly transported him to the time when he was just 6 years old. A severe case of the flu kept him in bed, unable to keep anything down. The king and queen tried to get him to eat soup, but he would refuse. Eventually, they convinced him to try. This is what I ask. Derek is not my main character. My book is third-party omniscient. Is this level of detail for his memory okay to write, or is it too jarring? If you are writing in third-person omniscient, the most key thing for you to do is to create a narrative voice for whoever's telling your story. So, even in third-person omniscient, you need to have a distinctive narrator voice who's telling your story. The level of detail that you go into for a character's thoughts and feelings is totally up to you. It's not too much if you're writing in third-person omniscient. Just make sure that you have a consistent narrator voice throughout the whole work, and that you're not just doing third-person limited and head-hopping between heads, because those are two different things. So I don't think it's too much detail, as long as your narrator is consistent in the way they're telling the story. you can use as much or as little detail as you like. I hope that makes sense. I hope I explained that well. Third person omniscient is very tricky. He keeps talking about working on it. He's not all upfront about working on it. I mean, he talks about it on his blog. Scholastic contracted Sanderson for 4 books out of the 5, but actually 6 books. Don't even get me started on the Wheel of Time. That's a whole other rabbit hole. That's a whole other deep dive. We gotta do at least 1 sprint before we touch that one. I throw words on a page and pray they make sense. Me too, Carly. Apparently he's been working on Elden Ring. Oh, I'm gonna start the sprint, you guys. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna turn up the noise while I'm writing. To the noise? The background. I'm gonna need to have a title. I guess My Little Domerin can be the title. Trying to type too fast. I'm trying to type too fast. Ooh, Joe getting told. I guess I don't understand how third-party omniscient is tricky, because people get it mixed up with people don't realize that you can't just go into one character's head and write from their perspective for a while and then switch to another character's head and write from their perspective for a while. People think that that's third person omniscient, and it's not. Third person omniscient is like an outside voice that's telling the story. Kind of like Lemony Snicket is a really good example, or The Book Thief. So theoretically, Taryn, if you're writing in third person omniscient, your characters don't really have POVs. Your narrator has a POV. And your narrator can tell you what the main character and the main villain are thinking, but you never actually go inside their head and allow them to narrate. You have a narrator who narrates on their behalf, if that makes sense. It's tricky. It's like a disembodied spirit who knows the whole story and is telling the story and can dictate, can understand the thoughts and feelings of the characters and share them with the reader, but isn't necessarily experiencing those emotions for themselves. Something happened. Poot and Moon! Hello, hello! How's it going, Poot? Actually so confused, another person I could swear I'm following. Get it together, Twitch. Hey, no worries. I swear Twitch has unfollowed people on me before, so I get it. How's it going, Poot? The best example I can give of a third-person omniscient book is Lemony Snicket. Anything by Lemony Snicket was 100% third-person omniscient. Taryn, why don't you message me on Discord with sort of what you're trying to do for, like, what you want your narrator to be or feel like, and we can talk about it in more in depth on there. Because if you can send me a slightly larger example of, like, what your POV looks like what your narrator currently looks like, and sort of what vision you're going for, I think it would be easier for us to talk about it there than to talk about it in Twitch chat, if you're comfortable with doing that. I don't think I could look at a full chapter, Taryn, but if you go through and pick out a couple of paragraphs of your main character, a couple of paragraphs of your villain, and a couple of paragraphs where you're dealing with minor characters, and send them to me, I can evaluate based on that. Versus, like, the message limit in Twitch chat, if that makes sense. No, I'm not saying hijacks. My word. Also, I don't think I need a full chapter to help you out with this, Taryn, because I think I just kind of need an idea of what you want to do, and I can give you guidance from there. Bird is being a jerk. We're just gonna add this to the dictionary. The dictionary says this is a word, so suck it up. No worries, Taryn, that's what I'm here for. I'm actually trying to lay out this outline as if it's like an episode structure for like a season of the show. Woof is a very good beta. I would take him up on that, Taryn. Not to speak for Woof, but Woof is one of my betas, and he's very good. He's very good. I may have trained him up a little bit, but he was good to start with, so... You should never have to pay for beta reading. Editing, yes. Beta reading, no. I promise I've seen that there's a whole other conversation about Elden Ring and stuff. I'm going to catch up on all of that during the break. I don't want you guys to think I'm ignoring you. It's just that Taryn is asking writing questions. So I want to make sure we're getting her where she needs to be. And then we can talk more about George R.R. Martin during the break. Cheers, pie. Two pie treats for pie. Chet has behaved for the most part, I think. I think we agreed to wait until the break to talk about George R.R. Martin. got 1,060 words worth of outlining into that sprint, and I'm pretty far in the story. I basically have set this up so that it feels kind of like a season of the show, right? So I'm aiming for roughly 22 to 24 episodes worth of story arc. And then, because an entire episode might be too long for a blog post, I'm tentatively going to break each chapter down into Act 1 and Act 2. And then those will essentially become the, like, 48 to 50 chapters that will make up the fic. And I kind of maybe have an idea for a season 2 if we ever need to do another fundraiser. Or if we ever just want to use that as a community goal. I'm gonna save that hydrate for when I get back from my break. Oh yeah, let me turn the sound down during talkie time. Let's do the stretch though, and let's hit the save button. We've got a save alert from Blur. Everybody, make sure you save your work. Taryn, I'm going to read over what you sent me after stream. So probably after lunch this afternoon, I'll read over that and get back to you and give you a little bit more of a breakdown to answer your question. But thank you for sending that. I'll definitely take a look. What do we got here? I know there was a whole discussion about Elden Ring that I kind of missed. Poot, what is up? What are you up to today? I hope you're having a good day. He had minimal involvement in Elden Ring. I know my Elden Ring, he wrote a handful of character backstories, and that was it, thankfully. My understanding of it, I don't know my Elden Ring. My understanding of it was that he had, like, kind of established the lore, like the mythology or whatever, and then the game designers did the rest. But I just kind of I know the basic lore of Elden Ring. I don't really know a ton about its development. I'm mostly... Oop, I read that already. Also named every character G, M, and R to confuse the shit out of anyone trying to understand the lore. Wolf and I did talk about that a little bit on stream. All he wrote was the backstory about the demigods. That happens in the opening cutscene, then everything else was Miyazaki building off of it. That was my understanding, was that he basically had created, like, the mythology, and then somebody else wrote the actual game story. Been working on a lot, just also randomly got the urge to start writing the other day. Poot, what type of thing are you writing? No pressure, but tell us if you want, but no pressure. You can really feel the Miyazaki themes in Elden Ring like you can in his other games. I didn't know Miyazaki was involved in Elden Ring. Not sure if he has any involvement in the movie. I hope so, if he wrote the game. I also didn't know that they were making an Elden Ring movie. Breaking, Disney and NBC Universal have teamed up to sue Midjourney and other generative AI companies. Somebody had to at some point. There was already legislation pending about whether or not they even, like, could do what they were doing, so they've got to force them to set a precedent at some point. I'm pressuring you. Look, Pooh, we all really want to hear about your project, but if it's a secret, that's okay. Some writers do feel like if they share the details of their work, they're like, the fire will go out of it for them. So, like, whenever I ask, oh, hey, what are you working on? If you feel like sharing details about what you're working on is going to make it harder for you to work on it or kind of suck your enthusiasm out of it. I definitely don't want that to happen. I definitely don't ever want anyone to be like, oh, if I share this, it's gonna like kill my drive. So no pressure for anyone ever to share, but I do get excited to hear about other people's projects, and what they're working on and what they're excited about. So you can always share as much or as little as you feel like sharing. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna go wash a room. Be sure that you get up, move around, stretch, refill your drink, take your meds if you need to. I will pause the timer so we can talk more. I know I waited like 20 minutes to chime back in on the whole George R. R. Martin Elden Ring thing, so if y'all are still lurking in the chat and want to talk more about that, feel free to revive the conversation. I don't know a ton about Elden Ring. I just know that lately George R. R. Martin has been doing a lot of independent films, and then every time he gets interviewed about them, he's like, well, I have to direct my own films because I can't trust other people to stick to my vision anymore. And I'm like, okay, but you played a role in the disaster that was the Game of Thrones TV show, and you've never told the ending of your story either, so what the hell? Which I have feelings about. But yeah, anyway, I will be right back, and we can talk about that, or we can talk about other things. hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. Sorry that I was AFK. I do seem to be AFK an inordinate amount when I get raided. Welcome in, raiders. How you doing? Nyx is here. K-Coop work, sometimes Raven. Hello, hello. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've had a very productive morning. I'm gonna resume the timer. We just finished our first sprint and we're in our first break. And I am working on an outline for a My Little Domerin fanfic that the community unlocked during the fundraiser for my new computer. And I'm basically creating a season outline of the episodes for the fanfic, which we're gonna start writing very soon. And I'm about 2/3 of the way through the plot. It's a very sketchy outline. I'm just focusing on big plot here, not individual hijinks. I'll probably pants a lot of this because it's just a freebie that's going to be going on my blog. But it's super fun and I'm excited. Please feel free to share how you're doing and what you've been up to today. Nyx had to raid and run. Pupper was being a goober. No worries. K-Coop work, how's it going? Don't know if you're lurking, Nyx, but we appreciate the heck out of you. And anyone who hasn't, please go follow Nyx. I love hanging out in Nyx's stream, just super chill vibes all the time. Another writer and productivity streamer. Usually starts earlier than I do. So I also tend to pop into Nyx's streams before I start streaming for the day. Nyx Thorn, hello! How's it going? The folk who packaged this salad kit added way too many blue cheese crumbles. Oh no! I was just having this conversation with Ghost the other day. I like blue cheese taste, like, in something, but I don't like blue cheese, like, on its own. So, a blue cheese dressing I could do, but, like, just pieces of blue cheese, I'm like, no. No, no, no. Ghost, though, will just eat the blue cheese. Does anybody like blue cheese on its own? My husband does. My husband likes, like, all the stinky foot cheese. I can't handle any of the cheese that has, like, actual... Because I think blue cheese is one of those cheeses that has, like, actual mold in it. Or at one point had actual mold in it before you eat it. Crumbles are fine when the bite includes other ingredients. Fair. But yeah, Ghost would actually just break up blue cheese and eat it over a cracker. Not me. I can't. I actually am lactose intolerant, so I can't technically eat any cheese anyway. But anything that has, like, that funk, like that foot funk, can't do. But if it's, like, a blue cheese flavored, like, if it's blue cheese dressing or, like, a blue cheese sauce or something like that, I'm okay with that if it's, like, tempered by other ingredients and just has a little bit of the blue cheese in it. It doesn't really bother me, but if somebody handed me a hunk of blue cheese, I would be like, no. And also, I never want to smell that again. We watch, also, The Deathsworn. How's it going? We watch this channel, I think I've mentioned this a couple of times on stream. We watch this channel called Sorted Food, on YouTube. And it's basically, it was put together by a chef named Ben Eberall, aka Ebbers, they call him on the actual channel, and a couple of his friends, because his goal was sort of to teach his friends who weren't chefs how to cook better. Carly, I love you, you dumb bitch. And you best be taking care of yourself today and every day. So yeah, it's him and his three, like, regular home chef friends. And they've done a couple of reviews of like different types of cheeses, and they did one that was called Blue Brain, and it's literally like the next level of blue cheese. It's when like they let it have just like this blue crust around it. It was so gross. It looked so gross, and I was like, no, I would not eat that. Thank you, bye. I thought chefs knew everything about food, then I watched Gordon Ramsay make grilled cheese. Listen. It's actually really cool because, it's really cool with Sorted because, they're not super famous guys or anything. I mean, I guess they're internet famous. But the main chef who's on there is, Ben Eberall. And then they have another chef who's joined the channel these last few years, named Kush, who actually is a Michelin star chef. He's worked in Michelin star kitchens, for most of his career. Very, very fascinating guy. And then in the past they had, James, and I can't for the life of me think of his last name right now. And he has sort of moved on from the channel, but he comes back to hang out with them sometimes. And it's very interesting because they all three have very different approaches to their career and to their, like, the way that they apply their chefy knowledge. And it's very interesting to watch what they call the normals interacting with trying to cook on that level. And just when you don't have the skill set of a chef, when you don't know the food science, you have a very different approach to how you do it. And so, yeah, they call them normals. The chefs and the normals. And they do a lot of, like, here's cooking hacks that you can use to get more flavor into your meals during midweek. Here's, like, tips from chefs on how you can make something taste really good without having to spend 24 hours, you know, creating a broth or whatever. And it's really fascinating. And then they do some videos where it's like, here's a chef going full chef and doing full chef things, and it's like, I'm never gonna cook on that level, but that sounds fucking delicious. His was like a burnt crust, an unmelted inch of cheese in between. Oh, that sounds awful. Grilled cheese is the best. It's like the best comfort meal, and it's so easy to make. I can't eat it anymore, but I do love it. When we were kids, we used to do, it sounds like such the cheapest meal, but we would do grilled cheese made with American cheese slices, which is like not even real cheese. It's like the most processed cheese, because I grew up in America. And like the default, like Campbell's tomato soup, like condensed soup, just heated up with water, not even with milk in it. And we would dip the grilled cheese into the tomato soup. My mother, this is probably, that has not aged well, but my mother always called it poor man's pizza. And we would dip the grilled cheese into the tomato soup. And it was such a cheap meal, but it was so good. It was so satisfying on a cold day, on a cold winter day when it's snowing outside. And you've got a nice melted grilled cheese and some tomato soup to dip it in. That was like my favorite childhood lunch. Can't eat bread anymore. No, Deathsworn, why do they take all the good foods away from us? Are you gluten intolerant? Lost the ability to digest wheat. Oh no, it was like best grilled cheese is a ham and turkey club with cheddar either side. Oh, this sounds so good. Best grilled cheese is a ham and turkey club with cheddar either side, barbecue sauce, tomato, and mayo in the middle between two meats. Oh, that does sound amazing. I'm very fortunate. I technically can't digest dairy anymore, but I can take a pill. So I can take a pill and I can eat dairy sometimes. So I can still have my comfort foods. I can still have mac and cheese. I can still have a grilled cheese every now and then. Not as much as I used to. For sure. I can't do it like every week or every day, but every now and then I can indulge in something creamy, cheesy and get away with it without hurting too badly. But I have to be careful. Grilled cheese is amazing. Haven't had it in a while. It is so good. I also like a good tuna melt. Like if you've put tuna and cheese on bread and stuck it in the oven to toast off. Oh, so good. We use 3-year-old aged cheddar for ours at home. Oh, that sounds amazing. We're making me very hungry right now. Gluten intolerant. I used to make my own bread and everything. I had a recipe I built for dill pickle bread. Dill pickle bread sounds so good. Bread is my kryptonite, you guys. It was amazing. I had a dill pickle bread and a stuffing bread recipe. Oh, those both sound so good. Are you able to do the dill pickle bread with like gluten-free flour, or does it just not work? And yeah, share recipes. No pressure. You don't have to share. But if you have recipes, I'd love to have them. We, a couple years ago for our anniversary, bought ourselves a bread maker, and it instantly paid for itself because we make so much bread in this house. Just can't be ours to learn how to make gluten-free bread. Fair. It is different. We did it one time with our bread maker, but you have to use a binder with it. From my understanding, like you need xanthan gum or something that binds the flour because it doesn't go through the same process. Oh, dill bread sounds so good. It tastes like turkey stuffing, great for making leftover sandwiches. Oh, that does sound great. Got called back to work and now got to run to the vet. Sardonisms, thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I'm gonna let the second sprint go here and finish this outline. You need xanthan gum to bind and lighten, and it goes stale in no time. I'm the only gluten-free person in my house. I just don't bother anymore. Fair. You know, I know other people who sometimes bake gluten-free stuff, and they've also said sometimes it's just easier to avoid everything. Because it's a whole different process. It doesn't taste the same. One of our other, I don't know if she's lurking, one of our other community members, Final Stencil, is gluten intolerant. And she said one day her husband brought home cookies that he thought were gluten-free. And she tasted one and she's like, this is really good for gluten-free. And then they read the label and it wasn't. And she was like, she like handed the cookie back to him after one bite and was like, welp. So you gotta be careful. She was okay, I should add. She was okay enough to come into my Twitch chat after that and sass her husband, but it's tough. It's tough when you suddenly can't eat something that you've been eating all your life. During the sprint. just realized another scene that has to be in this at some point for character progression. I don't know why or how it'll show up, but it has to be there. You'll get it in, Sardonisms. I believe in you. People ask me if I'm allergic. I make the joke that I won't die. I'll just want to die. Big same. For some reason, people don't find that as hilarious as I do. Well, I think when you live with it, like, for me, making light of it makes it easier. If I can joke about how I feel when I've made myself dairy sick, it makes it a little easier for me to deal with the situation. I also have a really grim sense of humor, though, so I think that's funny. One of my best friends is gluten intolerant, and she cheats sometimes and just deals with the consequences. Yeah, some people can't, like, I know some people who are, like, super sick if they, like, are, like, cross-contaminated with gluten, so you have to let each person, like, live to the standard that they tell you to. If someone is gluten intolerant and they're coming to your house, make sure you accommodate them as best you can. But if they can choose to interact with it and just live with the consequences and get away with it, like, I do know people who do that too. When she does, she is in pain and whatnot, and I'm just like, well, damn, it's almost like you could not have eaten that thing and you would have been fine, you dumb hoe. Exactly. I've said things like that about myself from the toilet. Not to get too TMI, but I've said things about myself like that from the toilet. For me, cheating is dealing with cross-contamination, but I can get away with that only because I'm not celiac. Yeah, it's the same for me. Like, sometimes I'm really dairy sensitive to the point where I'm like, no, don't let me, like, I'll tell Ghost, don't let me eat dairy right now because I'll hate myself. And sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I don't care how long I'm on the toilet tomorrow. I want this, this, and this, and I just do it. But it won't kill me. I'm not allergic. So I think intolerance is like, it's a grace to have the ability to make the choice, if that makes sense. I live with a man who loves cheese, so there are hard days. There are hard days in this house sometimes. I think I'd waste away dairy is like all I eat. My husband is the same. Luckily, I have found, like, there are some really good lactose-free cheeses now. They're starting to make some really good dairy-free cheeses that don't cost an arm and a leg, which I appreciate. I can also eat goat cheese a lot easier. It has a lot less, in fact, it has so much less lactose that it doesn't even bother some people who are lactose intolerant. So I can eat goat cheese, which I appreciate. But man, there are, like, mac and cheese is my comfort food. There are days when I'm just like, I want that old 3 cheese baked epic cheese pull and I can't have it, and I'm so sad. Dairy-free cheese is an abomination unless you can handle cashews. I've had some okay vegan cheeses, I have to say. But, like, it's hit and miss. So I've had some really bad dairy-free cheeses, too. Like, I've had some really bad dairy-free cheeses. Had a friend who had really good vegan cheese that had a similar texture to goat cheese. Wish I remember what it was. I think there's a brand in our area, if you're in British Columbia, called Viola, which is really good. I guess like Viola Life. Yeah, usually the best vegan cheeses are nut-based, for sure. I've also had a lot of really nice cashew-based ice cream, which is really good. Luckily, I can still eat nuts. My son is also allergic to tree nuts. No! That's rough. Because it is the most common supplement, is nuts. Yeah. Yeah, there was a, like, I think it was Viola, and it was a, like, creamy, I think it was supposed to be kind of like camembert. It was like a creamy white, spread that we were putting on our crackers. last year at Christmas. It was so good. I almost didn't believe that it was dairy free. It was so good. Google says Violife. Yes, that's it. That sounds right. Fairly reasonably priced too. Yes, a lot of the really good vegan cheeses cost an arm and a leg, so looks like majoritively coconut oil. Yeah, I was really shocked that it actually tasted so much like cheese. They recently changed the formula and now everyone hates it. No, it was so good. The cream cheese is pretty decent. I did buy some of it. Although I do find that with the cream cheese, it helps if you have like a jam to put on top of it as well. Like if you're doing a cream cheese and jam or something instead of just the plain cream cheese, because on its own it's not quite as good. That makes me so sad that they changed the formula because it was like the best vegan cheese. That was not like an arm and a leg cost. Pie, my dear, hydrates for you. A one. A two, and I think I might have missed one of Blur's, so let's do an extra one just in case. Yeah, my mother-in-law actually found it for me. My in-laws are really supportive of me being lactose intolerant. I mean, any decent person would be, but like they're super good about it. And so like when we go there for holidays and my mother-in-law has a cheese board planned, she's like, okay, here's the cheese board with like the dairy cheeses, and then she makes me like my own cheese board, and she's always looking for like vegan cheeses and lactose free stuff that we can try, and that kind of thing. And it's really sweet. It's just really nice that she always does that for me, because I'm always like, you can just like whatever, I'll just, as long as there's one or two things for me, I can just chill. But she always makes sure that like, not necessarily an equal amount, but that like there's nothing lacking. So I appreciate that. Ghost parents are very wonderful. I know we've razzed on them a few times about some things, but I definitely won in the in-law department. His parents are very lovely. Very, very good people. And his mom is like, when you think of like a 1950s housewife hosting a party, she is that, only without like the jello molds. Like, she is the penultimate host. Like, she's just so good at it. I don't know why I said penultimate. I don't know if that word actually works, but she's like a very good host. She always has like the 3-course meal and the snackies that are set out ahead of time, and everyone's getting the cocktail every night at dinner, and there's so many desserts, and it's like, you are always very well taken care of in the Ghost Pepper household. So I strive to do my best when they come here, but it just can't really compare. I do not have that level of hosting skills. I'm gonna edit, but my editing program is acting really stupid. No, Blur, I'm sorry to hear that. I almost had a heart attack the other day because I was trying to check on something in Adobe Acrobat, and when I opened it, it made, I think it did like a background update, and it spiked my CPU, and my computer froze for a solid 40 seconds, and I was just like, what is happening? And then it was okay after that, but I was like, I get so paranoid about any little computer trouble at this point in my life. After last computer, after the disaster that was my last computer. Alright, guys, there's gonna be 48 to 50 chapters, probably, possibly, of this fic. I'm looking at 24 to 25 episodes, and possibly each broken down into an Act 1 and Act 2. So you're getting your money's worth here. You're getting your money's worth from this. I might base it on how long they end up being, but I try to keep everything that I post on my blog to around 3,000 to 4,000 words, with 4,000 being on the higher end. So if I'm writing like 6,000 word episodes to get through all the story, then there'll be two separate Act 1 and Act 2. So we'll have to see how long it is. Technically, I'm writing 24 episodes. That's technically 24 chapters, which is a season of TV. It's just that I might have to break it down into smaller chunks to post it on my blog. So it will be 48 to 50 installments on my blog. It won't necessarily take us that long to write it. It might not take 48 to 50 installments of writing, but we'll see. This is just the outline. This is just the plan. Plans can change. But I have a rough story idea, and I've outlined how many episodes I want to spend on each. Maybe I'll be able to fit a full episode into a chapter, and then it'll just be 25 chapters long, but we'll see. I can just feel Carly shaking her head at me right now, like, that girl. What are we gonna do with that girl? Should I nap now that I've eaten and opened my packages? Yeah, if you're sleepy. That reminds me, I have to check. I'm supposed to be getting a package today too. I'm skeptical whether it will actually arrive today, because it's not out for delivery yet, and it said 9:10 a.m. to 1:10 p.m. and that's 10 minutes from now, and it's still not actually out for delivery, so I have a feeling it's not going to be delivered today. But you know. We ordered a futon for when the in-laws come so that Ghost Brother doesn't have to sleep on an inflatable mattress. And it says that it's supposed to come today, but I have a feeling that the earliest it will come is actually tomorrow. Carly, I feel that in my soul, though I'm always sleepy. But if you feel like you need a nap, go for it. Gotta be able to go to a conference call. Deathsworn, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate the heck out of you. Hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Ordered a music score and a mane tail brush for the horsies, as well as some detangler. Oh, Carly, that's so sweet of you. I bet they are gonna appreciate the heck out of that. Okay, now, there was a second thing that I was going to jot down, because we have time. So, I recently played a game called Boyfriend Dungeon that I really enjoyed. And it was just kind of short. It was very open-ended. And so if I'm starting to write fan fiction for my blog, I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I'll write a little self-indulgent follow-up to the game involving the character that I was playing in that game, which was, of course, Domerin. So I'm gonna jot down some ideas for that, and then when we finish the My Little Domerin fanfic, if I'm still feeling it, I'll write it, and if I'm not still feeling it, then it'll just be one of those things that floated through my brain at some point in time that I wrote down. Now I can braid their hair. It's gonna be so cute. Take pictures. I love horses. I was definitely a horse girl growing up. I used to take horseback riding lessons for the longest time. I haven't been riding in so long, though. It would be amazing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we can... The last time I looked into it, we kind of couldn't make it work out, but it would be lovely to do some trail riding in the area at some point. Because there are places around here that do it. A stretch from Pie. We've got a stretch for you. Ooh. Stretchy stretch. Alright. I have laid the groundwork for setting up my boyfriend dungeon. Fanfic. I just gotta remember who everybody is. And I will jot down some notes for this in the final sprint. So I am going to pause the timer and go take a quick break. to refresh what remains of my coffee and use the restroom. I'm also keeping a close eye on my succulents today because I had to water them last night. And I want to make sure they're not showing any signs of being too watered, even though it was like 2.5 weeks since I had given them water. So I'm gonna go check on them. Gonna restart my computer because it's acting kind of slow. Blur, I hope your computer stops being a pain in the butt. But I'll also hopefully see you in a minute. I am going to pause this timer. Boop. And I will be right back. Don't forget to get up and move around. Grab yourself something to eat or drink. Take your meds. Switch the way you're sitting if you've been sitting the same way for a while. And also, I will change where we're hanging out when we get back. have returned. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to hang out with... I wanted to hang out with all the rainbow spirits today. So let's go into the kitchen. And hang out with this boy. I wonder if I don't think he reads, unfortunately, if you do the reading. He just kind of floats. But he's still a cutie. Thank you. Thank you for the welcome specs. Oh my goodness. You know, I did wake up this morning with no idea how I really wanted to. I had a like vague idea of the My Little Domerin thing and like what I wanted to do with it and what I wanted it to be, but I didn't really have anything concrete. So that shower, man, that shower planning session went far. I definitely feel quite a bit happier / excited about doing it now that I have like a solid plan and like a breakdown of chapters and some goals to hit. I didn't come up with like individual events. My vision for it is for it to sort of be like a season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, right? So there'll be some times when the chapters are like, so-and-so pony down the road has a problem, and we're gonna solve that problem for them, by gone. And then there'll be some chapters where it's like, here's the big main plot problem that we have to work towards. So there's definitely gonna be what would normally be considered fluff, in a normal novel. If you were novelizing something, some of this stuff would be fluff, but I'm trying to model it after the show, right? To make it feel like the tone and like the pacing of the show. Because for me, I used to do this with my Sailor Moon. I used to write Sailor Moon fanfictions. I used to do this with my Sailor Moon fanfictions too, because making it feel like the work, making it feel like the thing that you're sort of copying has always been part of it for me. Of part of making it feel like authentic to what I'm copying or paying homage to. So I'm sort of doing it this way to pay homage to the show and the atmosphere of the show. So if I do other fanfics, I will of course organize them differently and try to make them feel more like, you know, what I'm doing, what I'm paying tribute to. But for me, that's part of the fun. Is can I sound like someone else for a while? Can I take something that isn't the way I would normally do something and do something that way for a while? And it's fun. It's fun because first of all, there's no pressure. If I write a garbage My Little Pony fanfic, it's not like people will come after me and be like, you wrote the worst My Little Pony thing ever. It'll just be like, yeah, I tried a thing, it didn't work. It was fun, and I tried it, and I learned things. But also just, you know, I have my way of organizing things and doing things and my goals for my stories and stuff, but sometimes it's nice to just break outside of that box and just be wild and crazy and just do whatever. It was really funny because we made the personal ponies. People who donated during the drive could pay enough to get a pony cameo in the fanfic, in the upcoming fanfic, and I have a list of cameo ponies that I'll keep handy for that. But it was really interesting because some people were clearly more familiar with the show than others, and one person sent me a list of ponies, and they had put the cutie marks because they were like, "What do you need?" And I was like, "Just a description of what they look like, their personality, and their cutie mark." right? Because everybody who's watched the show knows what a cutie mark is. But this person had the cutie marks like all over the body because they didn't really know the mechanics of the cutie mark. So I was like, just so you know, here's how cutie marks work. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, that idea of like working with somebody else's rules, working with some other mechanics that aren't like necessarily, and just having the freedom to do whatever and not really have to worry about it. I'm speeching. Long story short, I'm looking forward to writing it. It sounds fun. What I'm going to actually do now is I am going to skip the last 7 or so minutes of the break here so that we can start on the final sprint. So that I can jot down these last couple ideas. And then we will look into a read. So I believe I can just hit skip, and there we go. So I'm gonna do this one by character, by love interest. Dang, there were 10 dateable people in Boyfriend Dungeon? Oh yeah, I should also write down their weapon. For reasons. How's your computer behaving now that it's restarted, Blur? Dude, I'm gonna end up writing more for this outline than I did for the other one. Although I don't know if I'll entirely get it finished today. Because I don't know if I have plans for all of the characters. Digital Cow. Oh, golly. Sorry about that. Digital Cow, welcome in. I got so excited. I choked on my own saliva. How's it going, my friends? I was like, yay! How are you? What were you up to today? And have you been super productive? If you were producting, I hope it went well. I've been very productive, actually. I'm quite impressed. I think I did more in the last half hour than I did in the first 2 sprints combined, which is insane. Oh boy. So I only got about halfway through the second thing, but it's 1,866 words, and the other one was only 1,690. So I did do more in the last half hour than I did in the first one. Chapter 9 is done and started chapter 10. Heck yeah! Not feeling too good, but I still wanted to get work done. I hope you feel better, Digital Cow. Be sure to take care of yourself, get some rest. If you've gotten that much work done, you've definitely earned a break, a nap, whatever will feel good. 2 of us may still be working on a puzzle, but the will to get work done is there. Heck yeah! I know I have weeks for sure where I don't feel 100%, and my goal those weeks is always just to get through the most important stuff and then take it easy so that I can do something tomorrow. So never feel guilty, anybody out there listening, if you need to take a break, especially after you've worked hard. But it's good to see you. I'm so excited. I'm also gonna open your channel so that I can give you a follow. Heck yeah. Was I already following? I can't tell if I accidentally unfollowed and then refollowed. I'm definitely for sure following now. Either way, so that when I see you online, I can write. I'm always confused. I never know for sure whether I'm following or unfollowing because the icon can be confusing, but I'm following you for sure now. Heck yeah, then when I see you online, I can read you. Which is going to... So I actually just did like 2 blog posts worth of content for today, which I'm very happy about. Very, very happy indeed. So I can mark that off, and we can do a raid. Satoru, hello. Thank you for the hydrate. We got a new emoji. Oh, I love that. I love that it zooms in on the brows. That is such a good idea. Oh, man. I love that. Everybody always comes up with such a good idea for browse emotes, and I'm always so excited to see them. My my computer was acting slow, now my Wi-Fi is acting stupid. Maybe your computer was acting slow because of the Wi-Fi, question mark? Maybe it was always the Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry, Blur, you seem to be having a very rough day. I really hope things improve for the second half. Always show up late? No worries, Satoru. It could be a time zone thing. I don't know what time zone you're in, but I am in Pacific Northwest. Oh my goodness. Comf is on, but I think Comf might be dancing. And I don't know... I don't know how productive a dancing stream would be. So, I would love to raid Comf. I'm gonna shout out Comf, because Comf is amazing, and I don't see her on very often anymore. See, I'm 3 hours behind you, Satoru, so it's just lunchtime for me now. Let's do a quick shout out. Did I shout out Digital Cow? I did. Is it gonna let me shout out Comf? Yes. So check out Comf. Usually she does study and productivity streams, but today she's dancing. So I think we're gonna head over and say hey to Common Flower Girl, who is doing cross stitch, which, if you are still looking for some productivity, is a nice, chill, cool thing to have in the background. I am in the Pacific Northwest, about 4.5 hours east of Vancouver, in case anyone is wondering. To that end, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. PST. We're going to be back to editing tomorrow, working on the Aravalia Chronicles. So we'll be putting away the crazy fanfic stuff for one day for the rest of the week, but that is as is. We'll be back to the regular antics. So that's happening tomorrow, and then Saturday night over on It's Woof's channel, you can find he and I doing Cozy Chaos, which is where we just hang out and craft and talk and play games or whatever just floats our boat that day. And we did do a kind of sort of special Pride stream last week where Wolf was working on Hero Forge figures of a bunch of his characters, my characters, a bunch of people's characters, LGBTQ plus characters. I don't know if he'll be doing that again this week. I'm not sure what his plan is. But we will be streaming on Saturday either way, so that's Saturday at 7:30 PST. And then next week, I think we're probably only going to get 2 streams in on Tuesday and Wednesday, but I should be around at least a little bit, so check that out. It was a lovely stream, thanks. Blur, I sincerely hope things work out for you. I know that you're having a rough time with all your technology today, but I hope it behaves. Kitty's Eye has gotten much better over the last 5 days. I'm so glad to hear that. Just popping in at the end to give the update. I very much appreciate that sardonism, so I'm glad to hear Kitty's doing better. Sorry that I can't stick around longer, Digital Cow, because I know you and your raiders just got here, but it was good to see you. I appreciate the heck out of you. We're gonna raid Common Flower Girl, who is crafting at the moment. Just a fair warning, I swear up a storm, that be me, but Common Flower Girl is not with the swearing, so please keep it clean in her chat, as she prefers. Super chill crafting streamer, always worth hanging out with. She's working on this epic cross stitch, that is on, like, teeny tiny canvas. I can't even believe. So we're gonna go say hey to her. And I will be back tomorrow. Until such time as I see you all again, please take care of yourselves because you're awesome and amazing and I love you all. Remember to eat, to drink, to sleep, to get up and move around every so often. If you've been leaning on the same leg for a while, switch it up. Maybe get up and pace a little bit so that your feet don't fall asleep. Because you're amazing and you gotta take care of this meat sack that you're driving through the world because it doesn't take care of itself. I've learned that the hard way. I hope that you all have a fabulous and very productive and chill day until I see you again. Take care, my friends.
If I don't use her, then I lose my needle, which defeats the point of having a needle minder.